With age comes wisdom, experience, and a whole lot of unexpected changes. Welcome to Dad Brain, where two best friends share their journeys through the ups and downs of their 30s. Get ready for the raw and honest realities of growing older. Here are your hosts, Matt K. and Matt L.
Welcome to Dad Brain, the podcast where two lifelong friends discuss the ups and downs of maturing into our 30s in the most immature possible way.
Dad Brain, the transition from your youthful 20s to thinking like your dad.
Which becomes more and more common that I get told I sound like my dad.
That you
and I'm not
sound like
ashamed
your
of
dad?
it. Well, you say shit that they say.
Oh, yeah. Definitely the patience of my father is starting to reveal itself a little bit more as I evolve into this dad brain. But we need to stop right here because I need to introduce the man sitting right next to me. Now, every single episode, as you know, we do an introduction for each other, and I really had to dig deep for this one. This man is the proud owner of a Cookie Monster bike suit. That's Matthew K. right there. It has Cookie Monster's face on it. He is a grown adult. I can't explain it.
Do we need to put a picture of that up? It's called a jersey, just so you know.
Yeah, walk us through it because this deserves an explanation.
I mean, no, anybody who's cycled, like mountain bike, road biked, has worn the bibs, the shorts, and the jersey.
Yeah. I mean, once we get this Patreon rolling, if we just include like the whole entire bike outfit, to a certain subscriber level, gangbusters.
Not right now. I don't think it fits. Too many cookies. Not enough biking. My co-host, sitting over there, acting all high and mighty, believes that parkour is an Olympic level game of the floor is lava. Without further ado, this is Matt L.
Thank you so much, Matt. Speaking of parkour, every time I watch those parkour videos, I don't know if this is a symptom of dad brain, but I'm always thinking like, God, that has to be wreaking havoc on your ankles. That's the first thing I think.
Nope. All I can think about is the episode of The Office where they just run around like
flying. Yeah. Because they do just a move and then they say parkour right after it. So that makes it parkour.
And they just like jump onto a couch or whatever.
Now, buddy, we spoke briefly before the pod. We try not to talk at all before the episodes. That way we come into it with the most authentic conversations for the Dad Brain audience. But it sounds like you kind of went hard in the paint this weekend up there in northern Michigan. So this guy texted me on Friday night, and he was telling me that he was going for it. That the snow was on the ground and the caps were off the drinks.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any snow here in Florida or snow lightning, but I am currently recovering from a pretty wicked sunburn. What are your thoughts?
How'd you get the sunburn? What were you doing? So I know for a fact that you broke your chain of sobriety this weekend. You went out downtown Tampa with some questionable characters, did some things I hope you're not proud of that you're willing to share.
Yeah, I can definitely share a little bit. I would not say it's a chain of sobriety. I would say it was like the string that holds the two Dixie cups together when you're doing the telephone thing when you're younger. That's what my sobriety was. I knew I had to mentally prepare for it because, this weekend was our baby shower. So we're crossing off that milestone. And you got family coming in from all over the place, mostly Michigan, to escape the snow lightning. Jesus Christ, that sounds terrifying.
It was.
You're cold. You're cold, and you're also afraid about being struck down at any moment.
Matt, I've lived in Michigan my whole life. I have experienced minimum 30 snowstorms, at least once a year, right? Never before have I heard thunder and lightning in a snowstorm.
Yeah. It sounds like they could that could be the subtitle to the Cocaine Bear sequel. Cocaine Bear, Snow Lightning. What? Run for the hills, bro.
Well, and when there's snow, the light has so much more to reflect off, so it's just really blinding outside.
It's a really
That's
good
cool.
point. Going back to my paper thin string of sobriety. So, yeah, we had some questionable carries. The Mean Straight Posse came down from Michigan, and we went out on Friday night. Friday night was pretty tame. You know, it was just a dinner with the family, walk around the farmer's market, cool. Saturday night, we had a shift in the plans. We went to a piano bar
Those are always fun.
in downtown Orlando. I will say that because they had the dueling pianos, you didn't have to listen to the same dickhead all night. Because my favorite thing to do at the piano bar, I don't know about you, Matt, is, well, not my favorite thing to do. The whole point of the piano bar is to see how fucked up you can get the piano guy, right? So when he's doing those rap songs, you know, he's got them real tongue twisters yeah, but we didn't get the piano guy drunk. This
You
is a
didn't
really
put bread in his
sentimental-
jar?
We didn't put bread in his jar, but they had a mirror behind the piano. And if you Venmo'd or Cash App'd like a certain amount of money, then they would write a message up on the mirror. So some people would, you know, write crazy stuff or whatever. And I just wrote our daughter's name coming May 2023. And you would think that would set me up for some great sex later in the night. But unfortunately, that's not how this story ends.
Yeah, I thought, cash apping a bunch of money to some random dude would get me laid by my heavily pregnant wife. Yeah, genius.
You know what? I will actually shout out this place because they, you know, I'm a good tipper, Matt. I'm a good tipper, but I'm
Just
not.
the tip.
I'm not a $100 tipper. So my bill comes to like $40 on drinks because they give you drink tickets to get in there. So they give you 2 free drink tickets, but there's like 4 drinks that you can get. You can get Buck Miller Lite, Buck Coors Light, well drinks, right? That's it. So after that was expired, I built up a tab of like $40. End of the night's coming around. I'm a good time Charlie at this point. We got the whole crew there, and I get notifications on my phone when a transaction goes through on my debit card, and it was like, thanks for coming to Hall at the Moon Orlando, $153. The dude who I was with, he tipped himself $100. I put $10 on it, so I had to make sure that my producer went in there, and she is a great Karen. She's going to be an awesome mom. And she went in there and demanded some answers, and I'm waiting for that charge to fall off. But Howl at the Moon Orlando, that was shady as fuck.
So-
and, yeah, watch out for them. So that was cool. And then we also had one other moment that it was really sentimental. We had some friends come down from Michigan, and the mom came down from Michigan who just beat breast cancer. And I haven't seen her in like a year. And, you know, that's a big deal. And she was saying that she didn't get to ring a bell, like as the way to, like, you know how they do like the ringing the bell when the cancer's gone? She didn't do that.
No, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so like when you go through chemotherapy and it's like your last treatment and you're like finally cancer free, you ring the bell because like you beat it, right? Like you beat
Yeah.
the cancer.
Like a little
And,
boxing action.
Exactly. And she didn't get a bell to ring, but we gave her some caramel apple shots, and Bambi had a great night. And it was great. I got video of her singing on the stage. It was a great time. The drink that I had was called A Hot Girl Summer. And it was delicious.
I'm not gonna ridicule you. Don't worry.
But I will say, you know, obviously people have already listened to the alcohol episode at this point, but I have just been walking through quicksand all day today. And I know you've been on the same wavelength because you texted me and you said, man, Modern Family is a good show. And I'm like, he must be fucked up still.
No, fuck you. It actually, Modern Family, it relates to this podcast like nothing else does. It's literally a 30-something-year-old dad, 40-year-old dad, and a 60-year-old dad, and a granddad and stuff like that. It fits. Just try it. But
You know, yeah, they definitely. It's not. They don't do new episodes of that show, right? Like it's over.
yeah, well, it was like 20 seasons.
The family ended.
Well, when the daughters are like 35 and still living at home in college, it loses its spark.
That show never made sense to me because the dude who plays Al Bundy, he's married to like that smoking hot Sofia Vergara chick.
Because he's rich.
And like, oh, that's why? That's the whole storyline?
Well, that's the joke. At the first season, everybody like accuses her of being a gold digger, and in a later season, one of the gay son's gay friends looks at Ed O'Neill and Sofia Vergara and goes, "Jesus, how rich are you?" Because she's like so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole. It's a bit early on in the episodes that she's just a gold digger, but she's not, and the family coming to accept that.
Yeah. Matt's Modern Family pod definitely has some potential for sure.
Nah. No, so I got fucking railroaded Friday. Luckily, still made good decisions because my buddy was like, let's ride the snowmobiles to Taco Bell. And I was like, I'm not getting a DUI on a sled. And he's like, dude, cops can't catch us. Nobody will catch us in this weather.
It sounds like you learned your lesson on Friday, started to pace yourself a little bit. I also showed somebody in my life the podcast because I just wanted to get some feedback. And it was great because it was my dad. And I got to show him the podcast and at the same time explain to him what a podcast was.
Well,
He had no idea.
what was his reaction?
It was so weird, man. Like I haven't had anything like new to like show my dad. I don't know how to say that. I haven't like had anything new to show him in a while. But like as soon as I told him about it, and I told him don't tell anybody about it, he was going over my baby shower, just saying like, "You got to hear this clip, dude. It's hilarious. They're gonna take over the world."
I love your impression of Johnny.
And it sounds nothing like him.
No,
But
because
yeah.
it sells the part. Well, so I gave you like a little homework assignment, knowing that he was coming down for your baby shower.
Yes, you did.
What was that?
The homework assignment that Matt K gave me for this week was to record what he referred to as Johnnyisms. And we're going to do a whole entire episode on Johnnyisms. But basically, I was covertly recording a conversation that I had with my father on Thursday night when we were going to my cousin's house for dinner. And he had no idea I was recording. And it was really just stream of conscious. But I think we really got it down to a good solid 10 commandments of Johnnyisms. 12 commandments of Johnnyisms.
In less than an hour, my phone blew up with 12 clips of your dad saying some pretty good stuff.
Yeah, he is the philosopher nobody asked for. And I think I nailed the assignment. Like, I can't imagine what your phone was like. It was just ding, 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 like, because I was recording them and sharing them immediately. No editing whatsoever. You can hear me, like, giving directions because we're driving around.
And I'm at work trying to listen to them and do my job at the same time, which was possible.
Yeah, definitely before the Johnnyism episode, we're just gonna come up with the 12 commandments of Johnny,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do a whole entire episode on it. But today's episode, getting to our topic at hand, is about one of those Johnnyisms that Matthew K extracted. And Matt, I want to have you kind of explain kind of the tenets of this Johnnyism, and maybe just overall what a Johnnyism is and how it relates to dad brain.
Yeah, basically you were talking about friends coming to visit you in Florida, more specifically for your baby shower, but I think in general, which is a tough situation to be in because you left everything here, left us, went down there, and it's, for some of us, it's hard to make the time to visit. Me, I have a ton going on, a ton of stuff that I'm dedicated to at home, and it's hard for me to, catch the flight. And it's going to be harder now when you have a kid. Like, I don't have the free room and board anymore. But you were talking about with your dad about just how people try and beat around the bush instead of just saying, no, I'm not going to make it. And he just goes, just fucking say it how it is, man. And that's kind of where we're at with this. We're talking about how that indecisiveness ruins friendships more in your 30s than just saying no and calling people and talking to them.
Matt, you cracked it. Like, you described it perfectly. So even though you were getting hit with all those texts, all the different Johnnyisms, you were able to extract that idea perfectly. And I think I talked about this on a previous episode because this Johnnyism is reflected in my brother. And it's just the idea of being direct with people, right? In this world of non-committal, in this world of people just trying to not take the blame for themselves, right? Like, it's just this level of ownership that a lot of people aren't willing to commit to in their lives. But as you grow up and you have this dad brain, you become less tolerant of people's excuses. I think it was from the hit TV show Bar Rescue, John Taffer, I embrace solutions, not excuses.
Johnnyism.
Right. Shut it down. But
I watched some of that while I was hungover, too. It's great when you're hungover.
it is the best hangover television show ever created because you're not at the bar, but you're like sitting there and you're like, $8.50 for some green dye and a drink? Gotta be fucking kidding me.
So, did your dad go with you to the piano bar?
No, my parents flew out Saturday night.
Okay.
But just wrapping up on the Johnnyism itself that we're going to be exploring today, it's just this idea of being direct with people. There's just only so much time in a day for you to have mind space occupied by people's excuses. And my dad's tolerance for this, I feel like it's always been very low. But now that he's damn near 60 years old, he is extremely impatient and just wants people to be direct with him.
And without dissecting it as a Johnnyism too much, what I think this really boils down to, the thesis of this episode, if you will, is friendships in our 30s. And how that has changed because you don't have time to waste. Or your tolerance of people that are going to kind of jerk your chain, and part-time friends. I don't have, if I'm a football team, I don't have the cap space for that. Sorry, you're out.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And just being fully transparent with you, Matt, like, you have excelled at this part of your life. Like, you have a great group of friends. You have new people. You have friends within your friend groups. And it's something that I've always, I mean, I've been jealous of it because I know, like you just said, the challenges of maintaining those, because not only are those relationships, those are friendships, right? So like it works on multiple levels, and I really want to like find out in this episode like how you have been able to maintain those friendships, what struggles you have came up with. And I'll obviously share my perspective as well, but it's important to understand that with my massive life change and moving to Florida, a lot of the roots that I had in Michigan, and just with friends in general, are wearing thin.
Part of it is you can't worry so much about losing friends if what you're doing isn't good enough for them. If you have to work too hard to be somebody's friend, then it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real friendships are the ones, and yeah, you got to do some maintenance work. Like, you can't fucking ignore people for 4 years and just assume to pick up where you left off all the time. But you do have friends like that, and you have to embrace those friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the idea of the maintaining it, right? But like I said, a friendship is a relationship at the end of the day. And in order for a relationship to work, there has to be mutual agreements between both parties, and there has to be effort on both sides. Or just like an actual relationship, it's going to go to shit. Yeah. Right? If people aren't pulling their weight, and it's harder to say something like that because you know it's just a friendship, but if you are putting time and effort out of your day into maintaining this relationship to try to grow that garden, to try to maintain that garden, and someone is actively pulling up everything that you're planting, at one point you're just going to say, fuck it, I don't even like gardening anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, the big point is just also don't lie to me about it, or don't, if you can't do something, just say you can't do it, or just say you don't want to. That's how I keep friends. I don't really get offended. Like, I have enough things to keep me interested throughout the day that if you say no, you don't want to do something, I'm not going to be hurt.
Yeah. I think the hardest thing to hear in a friendship is the word maybe. Because I've had so many experiences in my life where maybe always became a no. And it was just someone's way of not committing to something, which goes back to this Johnnyism, right? Just be direct. But a lot of people don't want to have that. It's not even a hard conversation. We're humans. We're empathetic. Like, we're not going to be like, oh, my feelings are hurt, right? Your feelings will be hurt, but you're also an adult and you're evolving and you can deal with it, right? Like,
yeah. And that's why you're friends, because friendship is, one, it's not like a relationship between your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. It's a friendship, which means there's a whole lot more flexibility and understanding.
Yes.
As long as you're not bullshitting.
Exactly. That is spot on. And, you were talking about it, like, obviously, like, starting the pod has helped our friendship, but even with me moving away and even, you guys only being down here once, like, you're the working in the backyard, maintaining the garden, because you do respond to text messages. You will just text me out of the blue some random shit, and it's just those little things that just understanding that, like, if someone is going about their day and they like recognize something like, oh, I should text that to so-and-so, right? Like, the least you can do is acknowledge that, right? Because someone took time out of their day to acknowledge you. You need to reciprocate that at the lowest level. If it's a thumbs up in a text message, then that's perfect. It's still just the acknowledgement.
Yeah, and that's something
Everyone's
I
got time
think,
for acknowledgement.
back to your gardener metaphor, that's something you and I, we weren't, like, even in college, we were close friends, and shortly after college, we had closer college friends, I think, for a couple of years, but you and I were the only two people that wanted to maintain it as we moved along in our lives and into our 30s. So I could say out of my college friends, you are now my closest college friend and one of my closest friends in general. But
Yeah. No, that's mutual. And we spoke about our fraternity days, and you have this brotherhood. You have 400 people that you can call brothers. But I know that if I'm in a bind or I just need someone to talk to, it's going to be this guy who I'm talking to right now,
yeah,
because he understands my perspective. He has a level of empathy, and I'm done talking you up. Is this just going to be a podcast where we compliment each other?
should I?
Because you're a good person. So Matt, you were talking a lot about maintaining the friendships in your 30s and the challenges that come along with it. And a lot of your friends, both like friends that are also family or just friends in general, they have children, right? So how has that dynamic changed things in your friend group?
Not terribly, because we're all in the process of trying to have, or thinking about having kids. So there's that level of empathy is there. We all understand now, or even if we don't understand, we recognize how huge of a change it is. So you give that ground up, you give that yardage up, you give a lot of slack with that, and you just find more creative ways to enjoy the friendships. Which, like right now, my buddy Josh, my buddy Sean, we shoot sporting clays once a week. That's something we find we can do. And to that extent, I'm able to rope other friends into it, and my dad and his friends do it too. So it gives me a big support group of people with dad brain to hang out with.
Yeah, that's important. It's really like finding that common bond, right? Like even before I moved down to Florida, like I found common bond in, of all places, a game shop where people were playing Pokemon, and I latched onto it because there was that common interest. It was always something to talk about. But for you to have those people in your life that you're able to carve that time out on a weekly basis, like that, just realizing that that's something that so many people don't have, right? And to really just take a step back and to be grateful for it. But I'm also slowly realizing that all of my functions from now on, when it comes to family, when it comes to friends, are probably going to involve children at some level. We had our baby shower yesterday, and my cousin, who through the whole entire thing, our room looked beautiful, but she has essentially an infant. And, the infant is going to do infant things. And my other buddy and his girlfriend came with their kid, who's almost 1. And I don't know how to describe the emotion that it like changes like everything when you have those little kids in there. Not like from like I guess it would be from an experience standpoint. It reminded me a lot of my wedding, because I was like, there's never going to be another moment where this group of people is at this station in their life with these kids at this age. I just need to really take this all in. And I really tried to do that yesterday, and it was a beautiful shower.
Well, that's like what I'm saying
gifts.
about giving that slack and that ground. So I don't have a child yet. I have a formative dad brain, but without having, a child yet. And my brother-in-law has three toddlers, an infant and 2 toddlers. Sean, my other closest friend, has a 1-year-old, and I've got other friends that are, having kids or expecting kids or trying to have kids. So we all when we do stuff, the kids are involved and we still have a good time, but generally it's not as rowdy or as late.
You know, I brought up this observation to my cousin's husband, Joel. You met Joel before.
Great guy.
Love him. And I was like, yeah, man, the dynamics are definitely changing of these parties. And he's like, just wait till the first birthday party, bro. It's going to be a blackout bash.
Well, yeah, because those guys drink ranch water.
Oh, yeah. He's like, have you ever been to a Mexican's first birthday party? And I said, this sounds like a great setup for a joke. And no, I have not. And he's like, just wait. And I'm looking forward to that coming up in November. And yeah, so I think it's just about, even though the dynamics of the friendships have changed, like with the addition of kids, people having different schedules, it's still something that you need to take the time and just realize like how lucky you are. Because, you know, we had all the logistics planned out for our baby shower yesterday. We got there, Matt, and the room wasn't set up. There was kids in there like for a college course, and we had reserved this room ahead of time. They told us you can be there for an hour before to set up the room. And my cousin and her husband, they go and they set everything up and they call us. And obviously I have my wife with me, and they're telling me like, hey, nothing's set up. Like, what should we do? And I don't want to tell my wife this, right? Because this is a big day. I should have told her from the jump, like, you should not have your cell phone on you during these important days, right? You don't have your cell phone on you on your wedding day.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have it for your baby shower either, in my opinion. So we get to the venue, a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit, basically. You know, someone got some paperwork filed in the wrong cabinet. Someone got let go. Little Stacy hurt her knee. You know, just all the excuses. So they came in, they fixed up the room. My cousin decorated it. It looked incredible. And because of the inconvenience, they gave us a free room. So obviously we've been talking about the challenges of maintaining friendships in your 30s. And I said this is something that you've excelled at. In this episode, you've demonstrated with multiple examples. And I just want to get one takeaway, one tip for our audience from Matthew K., someone that I aspire to be when it comes to maintaining these friendships. What is one thing that you would tell the audience?
Well, actually, if we listen to that soundbite of the Johnnyism, your dad hits it on the head.
That's what I understand. People have fucking issues. Just give it to me straight, man. Don't fucking bullshit me around, man.
Yep.
Everything's gotta be a lie. You know what I mean?
But you were also saying, like, people will go so long lying that they start believing their own bullshit.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the narrative they tell themselves, so they have to live it.
You know, instead of just saying, hey, I can't make it, you know what I mean? There's no way for me to do it at this time.
Yeah.
I'll send you a fucking gift. You know, that you would rather hear that than some litany of fucking
Excuses.
garbage coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
You just can't care so much. You can't get hurt over people being direct. And maybe it's not the answer that you want, but you don't lash out, you don't ruin it. You shrug your shoulders and life goes on. And, you know, I'll hit you in a couple weeks, or I'll talk to you in a day or so, like whatever. It's not about not caring, but it's just not getting hurt over it. Obviously, my method is flexibility and forgiveness and just, you know, not being offended. What have you done to, and it's obviously harder for you because you can't see all your friends face to face anymore. What have you done to maintain existing friendships? and cultivate new ones in your new home state.
Yeah. I'll start with the cultivating new ones. It's really just about putting yourself out there more in your 30s, being more open about your interest, because you'll be surprised when you just start talking to a group of people, you know, in the community that you live in, and you start to find those common bonds. And those common bonds are the things that create friendships. And I was able to do that with, you know, some of my new friends here in Florida. But one piece of advice that I would say when it comes to maintaining friendships is, this is something that you said in a previous episode, which is just this idea of trusting your gut. Like, if you really just feel in your gut that this is no longer serving me, I'm putting too much time and energy into this, I put down all the right seed, I bought the fertilizer, but the shit ain't growing, then you need to say, fuck it, I'm going to pick up craft brewery as my hobby and leave this gardening shit behind. Because that's where I've been at with a lot of my friendships. And that's not to like, yeah, brewing new friendships, right? Let's click up a friendship framboise, right? That's a type of beer. That was good, right? I had to really search the fucking Rolodex for that.
It is a fruity beer.
But you know, we're gonna put that Johnnyism in this episode, so people have already consumed it at this point. And if people take in that Johnnyism and they really consume it to its core, then you're not gonna have those problems maintaining friendships in your 30s, because you're gonna understand the value of your time. And that's really what is at the core of friendships, right? It's all about devoting time to those things.
And it's worth saying, you can still be friends with these people. Like I said, you just don't have to keep putting in the unreturned effort.
Agreed.
And that's important, because you don't have an infinite well of outreach.
Yeah. But we do have an infinite well of content on our YouTube channel at Dad Brain Pod, on our TikTok, also at Dad Brain Pod. We're posting new clips on the Instagram 2 times a week at Dad Brain Pod. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give a like. That way we can get into your algorithm and really infiltrate your dad brain. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Peace out. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Dad Brain. New episodes come out every Sunday. Don't miss any. Subscribe today wherever you listen to podcasts. While you are there, help spread the word about Dad Brain by leaving a rating and review. Can't get enough Dad Brain? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Dad Brain Pod.